Good evening. Let's call this meeting of the Mulberry City Commission to order. Let's stand for the invocation and pledge. Pastor McMahon, pray to oath.
Thank you, sir. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day that you have made. Help us tonight as the commission meets, that you would meet with them here, give them your wisdom, give them your grace. We know, God, that you're the one who keeps us as the apple of your eye. And Lord, you say in your word that our steps, when they're held to your paths, will not stumble. And so, oh God, we ask that you would please give the wisdom that is needed in order for your will to be done on earth as it is in heaven here in Mulberry. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. Roll call, Madam City Clerk.
Commissioner Ayersman? Here. Commissioner Barsadi? Present. Commissioner Devine?
Here.
Commissioner McDonald? Here. Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Mayor Hatch? City Manager Ayala? Here. Assistant Attorney Crawford?
Present.
Needing approval for the last February 17th meeting minutes.
Motion. Second.
Okay, I'm going to stop you all right there. The city clerk just asked me before the meeting started, going forward, if we could state the motion for public record's sake, correct? Okay. So, now state the motion.
State the motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Discussion? Motion passed. Director reports. Laura, come on forward, please.
Laura Holton, Library Director. So our big event or big program was the big truck day in February. So as you can see, you might recognize Jason, but Jason volunteered to do a tractor ride. It was very popular. Hopefully he will volunteer again, but I know that he was busy for the entire time going around the park. So thank you to Jason for creating a tractor ride for the kids and the adults, and I wrote it on it. It was very enjoyable and great weather. So I just wanted to thank the people who Sarah was able to invite and ask to bring their big trucks. So thank you to Sergeant Wright, who started the conversation, and then Sergeant Cortez, who finalized bringing vehicles from the Sheriff's Department. So that's the vehicles they brought this year, as well as, it's not in the picture, it is kind of in the picture, but the canine, one of the canine dogs they brought. We had Lewis from the Public Works show off one of the trucks. We had the Alzheimer's Association bring their brain bus, and they were very complimentary. They didn't, they were questioned, someone questioned the outreach coordinator, why would you bring the Alzheimer's bus to a kids program? And they said it was the most people they had talked to, because so many grandparents came to this event, they were really able to talk to people. So for them, this was a fantastic opportunity that was questioned at first, but then it became a really great learning opportunity and outreach for them. So the brain bus was there. Also the school system's Books Bridge bus and the nonprofit No Covers Little Bus books were there, and both vehicles gave out books. So the kids were able at 2 different places to receive free books. Also thank you to the healthcare Baycare kids. We had a representative from the co-op was there, and thank you to Taryn from Studio 37, and she talked about all the city events. And then some more pictures. The plane came back this year, so thank you to the Aerospace Center for Excellence. The fire department was there, able and willing, brought their bowling game again. That's still very popular. And then one of our new members of our friends group, her husband does Ghostbusters, so that we were able to have the Ghostbusters vehicle at the event. So thank you to Sarah for doing all the work that's involved. This was our, it was hard to get a count, but it was our largest one yet. So probably around 300 family members that came to this, and the weather was great. So thank you to Sarah for putting that on and contacting everybody. So here are some other pictures from last month, our adult programs and our teen and elementary programs. So last month we had an end-of-life doula presentation, and thank you to Janie and Bethany for attending. We didn't have any outside people. I think it was a little putting off about what an end-of-life doula is, so I wanted to share with you all, so that if you know anyone who is going through this, that they know that this is another avenue in addition to hospice. So an end-of-life doula, they provide non-medical emotional support to the patient and to the family. They work along with hospice. They do not provide medical advice, but what they do is the emotional support, the organization. She has a binder that she walks through with the family members of here's everything you need to do to get ready for the end of life. And she is there, an end of life doula is there after the person passes away. So they are there near the end and after and help the family. They also can act as a mediator with family members. So if the patient says, I'm not up to visitors right now, she's the one that does it, so that the patient doesn't have to be the bad person and say, I really don't want my children here. She's the one that will speak to the children and say, hey, this is not a good time right now. Or she used the example, if they are going into a nursing home and they're not ready yet, then she will speak with the family members and say, Mom and Dad aren't ready yet to go into assisted living. So let's think about other suggestions. So she's kind of that non-emotional mediator that can help people. Again, she helps the family, and it could be a male, I'm just saying I had a family, but she helps the family get organized for what's needed, and then she works with the family afterward as well. I do not know the cost, but I do know that this is just another way of having support when it's very emotional at the end. And it's called, you're going to look at an end-of-life doula. They do have certifications. So the one that she has certification is, there is not anyone in Polk County, but she does travel to Polk County and can connect you with someone who is more local. So it is a growing field as people are wanting someone to help navigate that end of life. So, and then in February we did our outreach with the city at Founders Day, and then we did our annual having the kids make their handprints that are then sent to Tallahassee during Children's Week, so that the state politicians can see about the impact of funding children's programs statewide. So that's our hands that we sent. You all should have received the print calendar for March, and we have two special events in March. Our Friends of the Library are doing our semi-annual book bazaar up in the Civic Center. It's during the citywide garage sale, Friday and Saturday. And then on the last Monday of the month is National Take a Walk in a Park Day. So Bethany thought that it would be interesting that we have a hike. She set it up that we would have a hike at 7 Wetlands, but we will enter through the Mulberry Gate. And then Bethany will have information, if you don't know where the Mulberry Gate is, that she will have information about that. It is a 2-mile hike, no shade, so please, anyone who wants to come, bring sunscreen, hat, and a water bottle. But it will be guided by, Neil was there for the lady that did the 7 Wetlands talk 2 summers ago. She is doing the walk, so it will be guided and it will start at the Mulberry Gate, which I think is an interesting way to enter the 7 Wetlands. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Cultural programming, Chelsea.
Good evening, Commission. Chelsea, I'm Director of Culture and Programming. It's been, I think I say this every month, but this was quite a whirlwind of a month. You may have noticed that we had a large activity happening every weekend in downtown, and that's on top of everything else that the department has going on, and I appreciate the support of everyone in the city who always pitches in to make everything happen. For the month, we had 4 museum rentals, 2 gym theater rentals, 4 civic center rentals, 10 school, museum, and cultural center tours with 358 students. It was very busy in our parking lot. We also had our regular programming. I won't go too much into that because we actually didn't get pictures of all of it, but this was Rock and Learn. Outreach events. We went to, of course, the Evelyn Bryant Festival, which was wonderful and had, along with the library and Studio 37 promoting everything that the city has going on. And then we also went to Sci-Fi Bartow, showcasing what the museum has, but also we had Mulberry chili cook-off QR codes and Mulberry jams, and that was well over 6,000 people that they got to talk to. So it's been a lot of us promoting what Mulberry does. At the Evelyn Bryant Festival at the Gym Theater, we were proud to showcase Summer of Soul, which was a documentary about a music festival that happened in the summer of Woodstock that didn't get quite as much attention. So it was really fascinating and always a great opportunity to showcase the Gym Theater. We are air conditioned and have bathrooms. So even if people just pop in, we're not charging on days like that. We just want you to enjoy the facility and maybe see it if you've never had it before. We hosted a Valentine's Day Crafternoon, which was drop-in crafting sessions for kids on the Thursday before Valentine's Day. These are somewhat going in sequential order when they happen, so it jumps around between buildings. We were featured on Fox 13. Hope you got to see it. It ran several times on Surface Tension, which is the exhibit currently on display at the Cultural Center. I did use our local artists that are featured. The Barsadis were kind enough to come in and be interviewed and talk about what it means to have art on non-traditional surfaces, and I got to talk about how we've had interest ranging all the way from Manhattan to Tennessee, and local, we had first-time artists on display, and why everyone should know about the Cultural Center. On the 13th, we had Princess and the Frog early release day, so partnering with Studio 37, they could make a craft there and then come for $2 to enjoy a movie at the gym, so that time when you don't quite know what to do with your kid on early release day, we'll have something for you. And then, of course, that night, we had our Founders Day reception honoring the wonderful Julie Taylor. Thank you again to everyone who helped with that, the Mayor, Commissioner Devine, and everyone being in attendance. She's wonderful, and it was great to get to celebrate her and give her all the applause that she always gives everyone else. So congratulations again.
Give to her now.
And thank you especially again to Catherine and Laura for assisting above and beyond to getting that done with me. The next day was Founders Day. We moved downtown, and I think it was universally liked to have a street party in our downtown area with our back parking lot. It was a beautiful day, maybe a little warm. We had animals, we had live music, we had a rock climbing wall, and we were able to have the expo that we've had at the Civic Center into Depot 303. And when I was talking to the library staff, my staff, and Studio 37, well, Terry, I don't know if I've been at the ones in the past, but they said they actually thought they had more foot traffic than in the Civic Center because it just feels like a more natural way to go and explore, and hopefully they go into Depot as well. And then the bake-off. So we had wonderful entries into our community bake sale and bake-off. This is where I have in my notes, I wanted to say a special thank you. So my department, as some of you know, has been down staff since actually the Christmas parade. 2 of our employees went on to awesome opportunities, but we have been down. And Stephen just joined us. This is like his 1-month anniversary. But I wanted to give a really big shout out to Lauren and Bonnie, who, as busy as we have been, have not missed a beat and have stepped up and taken on more, remind me to breathe and drink water. They just really allowed the city to shine without looking like they were having so much more put on them. So if they're listening, I really, really, really appreciate them. Watercolor workshop we had the next week, which is our continued series looking into a textbook on watercolor and flower creation. Moon Over Buffalo was seen at the Gym Theater, produced by Missing Piece. That ran the last 2 weekends. So right after Founders Day, we went into opening weekend, which also, do I have this? No. Another reach-along that we did at the Cultural Center. And then Mulberry Jams happened last Friday. It was soggy, but I have to say, Mulberry likes a party, and I was completely not surprised, but delighted that the vendors that were willing to show up stayed and made money, that people were willing to jam with us in the rain, go into the theater or go into Depot. It was a party until the lightning started, which we lasted till 7:30, so almost the whole time. And the band was great and very gracious too. So again, I think everyone, as always, at this community is so willing to participate and have fun. We are about to go into another month, so we're not really taking a beat before going right into March. Next Thursday, I know it's Bridge League dinner, but swing by first to the Cultural Center, because between Flight and Footprint is the artwork of Lisa Elder-Willman, who is the high school art teacher at Mulberry High School. She's entering a new phase of creation and making wonderful prints, and we're excited to highlight her. We want to make sure that Mulberry comes out and supports one of its own. So that will be 5 to 7. Perfect. You can even come early if you're worried about making Ridge League dinner, but we would love to have all of you. We're doing early release again, so this one will be Kung Fu Panda on March 13th, and again, that's in partnership with Studio 37. We always encourage outside refreshments, so if you want to grab snacks from downtown, ice cream shop, Depot, Mulberry Cafe, you can bring them in and enjoy them. And next weekend is the Mulberry Chili Cook-Off along with the card show. It's going to be amazing. We've got wonderful chili contestants entered. There's going to be cards again. We're going to spread out, and now that we have all of our downtown area, we are very excited to bring this one back and do it better than the first year, if we can. And I look forward to seeing you all there, March 14th, 11 until 2. We also have spring break the next week after, so we've got spring break, Can You Dig It hour at the museum, 10 to 11, and then immediately after, if you go to the Cultural Center, there are activities for you, so you may enjoy a fun day in this little quadrant, and of course, always checking out what the other departments have as well. Dinner and a Movie is happening that week too, but it's sold out, so I'm telling you about it, but I know Commissioner Devine has a ticket, but otherwise, you can see the pictures later.
Last one.
That's right, claimed it. And the next weekend after that, we will have our third Mulberry Jams featuring Brooke Kramer, who's a lovely young artist who performs around locally. So come out, enjoy, and jam with us on the last Friday of the month. I think that's it for me. Nope, I was wrong, because the next day is the Easter egg hunt. So jam, and then come find some Easter eggs with us at Centennial Park. On the next day, the Easter Bunny will be there. It is from 10 to 11:30. We started that last year and it worked out really well. So Easter Bunny, Golden Egg Competition, crafts, face painting, and just a good time down at Centennial Park. That is really it for me. Are there any
I do
questions?
have a question.
Yes.
I've been asked by vendors, are we doing the Mulberry Jams during summer?
Yes, that is the plan that we're going to do this year, every month, with the exception of November and December, because they just run into the holidays.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that's the plan.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
Community reports. Ms. Taylor. President, my friend.
Still trying to calm down from everything. Sit this down with me, y'all, please. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Julie Taylor, Concerned Citizens of Mulberry surrounding areas, Inc., Post Office Box 134. To our Vice Mayor, and to all our commissioners, and to our interim city manager, Young, city attorney, and all our commissioners that's here. I'm just so excited I can hardly get started here. And I need to I'm too excited. All right, we're gonna snake it a bit, as the old people say. All right, now the podium looks great. It's different, but it's great. I'm so excited. So, but before I get started with the community report, I would just like to say that we would like to do something. We're especially gonna ask the time to the middle committee to come on up. Like everybody's not here tonight, but we just still kind of worn out from all the excitement of last month. So come on up. The committee is getting ready to come up to do something special than all we do. That's part of Concerned Citizens. this person that we're gonna ask to come down she's not a stranger to the city. Everybody knows her. But the only thing that's different is that she has moved from the little desk to the big desk of the city hall. And so we're gonna let her come on down. Miss, y'all come on down, Miss Jean. Center stage. Very special to the city. She is taking big shoes now. She's taking the place of Mr. Johnson. She's the interim city manager, and so we want to make you feel welcome. You know all about the city and everything. You're so proud. We know you're going to do a great job. But this is a woman to make you feel very special. And welcome you to the podium. You already up there, but that's to make you feel even better and stronger, and we know you're going to get the job done. So let's give her a round of applause. All right, and concerned citizens, now will come on up. Porch. We want to welcome our new interim manager. Anybody in the audience out there? Put your knees hurting. Okay. Okay, that's okay. Just lean in there, folks.
Yeah.
Lean in there. You and you.
Is that it? The coach and I stand, please.
Good. Show them an angle.
You gonna be there in a minute.
Guys.
Don't move.
Thank you, thank you. Also, well, committee, you're not done. Come on back. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm just so excited. So, as you know, we'd like to thank the city too, for doing something very special for the Concerned Citizens Group as well as myself. So you all present me, but I just brought it, not to show off, I just brought it again to everybody to see this, because this is not just from his tail one night. It is for, sit back down now.
Dr. Gardner, doesn't that plaque say Julie Taylor on it?
Okay. Yeah, we want everybody to know that this is for the group, not just Miss Taylor, this is for everybody. And, officer, you come on up, because you're part of the concerned citizens. Concerned citizens, this is your key. So, I'm just a receipt, just call my name, that's all. But this is for everybody, okay? All right. Hold that. No. Y'all hold that. Yeah, no, I'm yeah. So the key to the is for everybody. Okay?
Did you get a good one?
Get us in.
Got it?
Yeah, got you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's your key too, Sam. It's your key too.
Yes,
It's everybody's key, even though you know this was the, Drew, come on back. It's only this. I'm still trying to wind down. Give these out, I'm still getting the report. I'm gonna be real quick, y'all. These are for everybody. Everybody that say whatever they had to do for me to get this in our group. So just start at the podium. All right, I'm going on the report, okay? So let's give Ms. Chelsea, the department heads, and everybody that worked so hard for everybody, for the community and for the city. And for our commissioners, I know you're gonna work so hard with our new manager. I know you're gonna do that, and she's gonna work hard with you. And we're gonna make Mulberry still what? Shine, because it's already what? Shining. Because guess what? You know, we on the move, and Ms. Chelsea was on the news, so let's give her a round of applause. Also, our art teachers at Soy, the commissioners, Ms. Marin and Commissioner Basani, y'all stand up. They made the news, stand up. Ms. Chelsea, stand up. Ms. Chelsea, stand up. You know how to say it. Y'all don't have to tell what you know. They make everybody just feel that you're part of the city. But everybody works together as a team here. It takes everybody. Everybody, not just one person. We love our city, and everybody works so hard at City Hall to make Mulberry shine and make Mulberry what it is. So we'd like to thank everybody for doing your part. Now, also we'd like to thank the committee and everybody that supported the Elder Black Culture Festival. It takes a lot to put the festival on, and you know, Ms. Chelsea works real hard to get on her events. It's a lot of work, and there's a lot of support, so we thank everybody for helping us with what we did, and I know Ms. Chelsea appreciate what everybody did for her events that she helped in the city. She's a hard worker and her staff. Now let's move on down to the school concerns. As you know, school is just about to go on spring break. The spring break is already peeking its head up. The sewing program is doing great, doing well, and we also will be out that same week too. So when the school is out, our children's session is also out too. We coincide with the school's calendar. So we'd like to thank everybody that supports the soy, and I'm just going to do this one more time. Thanks to soy. Because the city hall made that possible. Thank you so much. Our principals are doing well, and also for Valentine's Day, the concern is to make sure that all of the schools felt love. All the schools got Valentine candies, and the principals and the teachers and the secretaries. So we love our schools, even though the crossing guard got something this year. All right. Now, community safety. Let's give a round of applause for our Mulberry Sheriff Department. We know that we got new deputies. You know, sometimes they change the guard, so we have a person that another deputy instead of Cortez, the next sergeant, Deputy Cortez. So we appreciate him keeping the city safe, keeping the community safe. Our schools, we appreciate you. You work so hard. And I know y'all been overworked because we had some tragedies with the, you know, they're trying to build a road, get the road recapped or whatever you call it. And so there were some accidents and some sadness there. So we appreciate you working overtime, trying to keep the community safe, and as well the traffic, traffic is safe. Now, let's go down to community events. I'm trying to be real quick. Our hearts are sad. We do know Tamara Sanders. She's one of our high school students. Her funeral will be this Saturday. It's going to be at 1 o'clock at St. James. She's one of Mr. Hatch's students. Mr. Hatch has lost maybe about 3 or 4 of his students, and I know he's still sad about that in the school itself. And of course the community as well. It's sad that one of our loved ones passed away. But also on a happy note, happy birthday to everybody born in March. So if you're born in March, that's a hooray for you, okay? All right. March is going to be just as busy as February. I mean, I'm still trying to calm down, still trying to get, wind down. And now Ms. Chancellor's already got all these things going, chili contest, chili cook-off, the egg. Easter is going to be early this year because it's coming but the first Sunday in April. Matter of fact, this is Palm Sunday month too, so and I know that the churches will be having sunrise and all of that, so community is going to be very, very busy again. But we do want to support our events. We thank everybody for their support. So again, thank you for everything. This ends my report. Are there any questions? If not, we'd like to say God bless our city, community, country, and our first responders. Thank you very much.
Moving on to new business. Discussion of fiscal year 2026 to, that's FY, right? 2031 capital improvement plan update. Who's presenting that? Okay.
So, after speaking with Drew, we discovered that we needed to update our CRP plan. It's to be, the plan is, from my understanding, and Drew, please correct me if I'm mistaken, the city manager is to provide the commission with an updated annual CRP plan 90 days prior to the end of the fiscal year. From my understanding, it's also more of an information for you guys as far as the projects that we're gonna have moving forward within the next 5 years. I did ask Roger, who is our engineer, to be here in case you guys had any questions regarding any of these projects that are listed in this letter, that he would be more educated in some of these things to answer your questions. So, if you guys have questions.
Just a little bit about the ones that state grant, that it has grant money. Which ones have actually been awarded? Was it just one of them, or was it more? I can't remember. Which ones are actually awarded on this highlighted projects?
So, good evening, I'm Roger, I'm with planning. I can go through all of them if you like and
Yes.
explain what we're doing, so we'll brief summary. The first project on Janie's Letterdale North Forest Main Bypass project, that one's actually funded via developer contributions.
Funded and awarded, or is that?
Well, it's already being constructed, so yeah, it's not a grant.
There's no grant on that project.
That project.
And Roger, I'll fill in on that one. The North Forest Main Bypass is a necessity due to the amount of development that's occurring north of Fifth Avenue, or north of Fifth Street, excuse me. And so that's fully funded with developer contributions. There also is there's an expectation for reimbursement for any fund the city would have to come out of pocket in order to complete the project. So
that we're not.
it will ultimately be in net zero.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. The next project on the list, lead service line project. That's a project that's it's mandated by the state to inspect and to correct any lead service line, water line issues. It is grant funded by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. It's the state revolving fund. It's kind of a special grant program that's for lead service lines. So the status of that one is there's already been the whole inventory phase done, and then out of that there was about, I think it was 48 or 50 water service lines that actually needed to be corrected and replaced. So that we're into that phase right now. It's about 40% complete, the design of that.
Are you going down 12th Street?
I know we are. I don't know how many are there replaced, but it's not. I'm not working on that project myself. But yeah, it's a citywide inventory that was done. So every house had to be looked at.
Right.
Roger, let's do this, just for order.
Okay.
Can we go through the highlighted points? And point number 1, question and answer. Point number 2, question and answer, so we're not all over the page, please.
Okay.
We were?
Okay.
I thought we were in order.
Okay. So you want me to just follow the order of?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Well, that was the second lead service line project. Anything more on that one?
I've got questions on that. You said about, we've got grants.
Yes.
What percentage is that grant?
I think it's 50% grants now.
Okay, and the other 50%, is it an unfunded mandate or funded mandate?
It would be, it's a low interest loan, state revolving fund.
So it's an unfunded mandate. The state's not funding it.
Sort of. Let me weigh in on that a little bit too, Mr. Vice Mayor. So this stems from the federal lead and copper rule revisions, as well as the lead and copper rule, and I guess the LCR added a new one. I can't remember what it stands for. Yeah, but this is a federal rule that's been adopted by EPA that mandates, in the wake of the Flint disaster, that mandates that any lead line that's either found to be lead or any galvanized pipe that requires replacement be fixed within the next 10-year period. You have to do a certain amount over a certain period of time. It's a huge project. It's being undertaken nationwide right now. Florida is implementing it as we speak. You're not the only city that has to deal with this, and the funding for it is a tremendous question, one that's still open. And so right now, I believe that DEP is doing the best they can with the money that they have available to them in order to help fund this. But at some point, we're going to have to realize that that's part of what we'll have to deal with for having lead lines in our system. And there's a whole process for going through. I think your report is, I think, only identified, is it 48 connections or?
48 or 50, I think I can remember 50, but.
Yeah.
I thought we received 640,000 from the delegation to cover that.
We may have. I don't know the answer to that.
From
At
this
least-
delegation.
Yeah, we were there in person and, oh no, Greg Johnson asked for 640,000 from Jennifer Kincart, and I thought we were awarded that for this project.
Oh, like an appropriation, state appropriation? I'm not aware of that, but
It's in the budget, I asked about it like 3 times last meeting in our budget meeting.
yeah, they may have funded the 50% part, it's possible. Yeah, I apologize.
Well, that,
It's in
I
there.
thought we had a 50% grant, and then we only owed 50%, but we have that 640,000. That was supposed to be for that, I believe.
If that's the case, that would be your 50%, because you would be normally doing underlying.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just checking that. Okay, the next one.
Next one is the water main and valve improvements project. That's a project just to generally look around the entire city. There's going to be a lot of substandard water mains and valves, whether they're bad materials or smaller diameters when they need to be. And right now, that's funded via a state revolving fund grant loan. It's currently in the planning phase. There's going to be 3 phases to it: planning, design, and construction. The planning and design are funded at 50%. It's just the way that drinking water state revolving fund program works. And the construction phase, which is the bigger part of it, will be funded at roughly 75%, somewhere in that range. It has to do with the income of the city. There's a come up with the grant percentage.
So, some of it is covered under the grant.
Yes, most of it, let's
Most
say,
of it.
yeah,
Okay.
big parts, yeah. Okay. Anything more?
Oh, wait, 1 second. When we say grants, we don't start the project until we get the money, right? Like we have awarded the money?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Depends.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to say depends on that. That's a difficult question to answer. Everything is different. Some things are reimbursement grants where we have to spend the money first. Others are grants where we can send the money, send the bills to a different entity. Usually what happens is anytime that we're involved in state revolving fund debt, it would be a grant that's given on the back end when the project is complete in the sense of loan forgiveness. So if it's a 50% loan, 50% grant, we pay out the project, it's complete, and then the grant is awarded. We don't have to pay back the state anymore. So it just all depends on how that works. Yeah. And if there's anything in particular you're interested in knowing, we'll just need time to review that and get that answer back to you.
I was just making sure we have the money with the backup then, this is the grant didn't go through and all of that. So I was just trying to see which ones were covered for sure.
Sure.
Okay. Next one on the list there is it's a special hurricane resiliency grant that's also run through the state revolving fund. This one is for what's called clean water state revolving fund, which that encompasses wastewater and stormwater projects. This was a huge win for Mulberry. There was this one. There's 19 million awarded, 100% grant to do. There were quite a few projects, 5 or so kind of projects included in that overall grant. Things such as putting up a flood barrier at the wastewater plant. There's moving of the sludge drying beds at the wastewater plant, kind of related to the flood barrier. There's a redundant access driveway for the wastewater plant. Inflow and infiltration improvements to the city's gravity collection system, the sewer mains and manholes.
SCADA improvements, lift station 4 improvements, and then there's a new generator at the wastewater plant. So, the total ask for that was like 40 million, and the, what was awarded was 19 million and some change, and that was a cap around the state. Everybody that asked for money, that was the most you could get, was the 19 million. So now where that project stands is there's been it's called a loan application, but it's the application to put in where the next step is they're going to send back to you your grant agreement. And that's where it's at. So it's going to probably take them some time to work through that because there's quite a number of these statewide, about 100 of them, I think. So the same folks that run the state revolving fund are having to do all those grant agreements, and that's, I think they're a little bit overwhelmed. But at any rate, it's a big win for Mulberry for sure. Any other questions about that? The next one is kind of the same thing, only for drinking water state revolving fund, which that is for drinking water related projects. That one is again 100% grant, 13 million. Those projects there were, let's see, 5 of those, little sub-projects that are included in that. It was a new SCADA, which is a communication system for the North Water Plant, a new storage tank in the North Water Plant, some other site improvements at the North Water Plant for parking and stormwater management. There's a new high service pump at the North Plant, and then there's a operations building also at the North Plant to rehab that. It's in kind of disrepair. But all these projects they're related to making your system more resilient to hurricanes and harden it for hurricanes so that you don't have any issues when storms come through, or hopefully greatly reduce the issues. The next one project is new electrical controls and SCADA for the wastewater treatment plant. This project is in its beginning stages. You'll notice it's kind of actually duplicated on the Clean Water SRF hurricane project. But what we're thinking is, because that 19 million is only going to go, they're going to require you to do the flood control projects probably, because that's more related to the hurricane resiliency. So these electrical controls for the wastewater plant are greatly needed. Your controls are in bad shape. You don't really have a SCADA system at the plant to allow you to remotely communicate with the plant like during storms and so forth. So the concept is to get started with the regular Clean Water State Revolving Fund program. And that would be funded at an 80% grant, 20% loan flip to do those projects. Because otherwise, if you wait for anything that goes over the 19 million, you have to take that out of 100% loan money. Really. So this would be a way for you to take advantage of at least 80% grant.
Thank you.
And that is all really for the water wastewater projects. Thank you. Any other questions y'all have? Thank you.
Thank you.
The street pavement is not funded grant wise, right?
No.
Okay.
So
We
I've got,
budget every year for that, $75,000 a year in the budget.
so I've got questions about the CIP. I'm looking at Landstar, Alpine Reserve, Eagle Ridge. That's not associated with Landstar, is it? That's over by Hunt District, right?
You're obligated to carry forward those types of projects on your CIP, your CIE, and in the sense that those are being undertaken by a separate unit of local government, the Development District that governs Alpine Reserve, Eagle Ridge, and Donaldson, each independently, but they appear on your CIP because they're technically projects of general purpose local government, so that's you. You're not responsible for that, or you have to pay that, but they just appear, and they have, if you go back and look at the CIPs and CIEs, they appear in years 2 and 3 for as long as we can recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Landstar's not done nothing in 20 plus years. Are they gonna do something or lay dormant?
You know, that's a great question. And not to get ahead of the game, I just want to let the commission know tonight that We anticipate to have a meeting with Landstar representatives later this week to talk about some of their plans, including some of the documents that they filed recently with the city. In particular, the petition to dissolve the Donaldson Knolls Community Development District. But as you can see, the Donaldson Knolls CDD is still slated on our CIP and CIE for public improvements. So we'll know more about Landstar at your next meeting.
Okay. Municipal complex update.
Sure. So we all know shovels have hit the ground at the municipal complex. And with this upcoming budget preparation, I believe that this is a perfect time to discuss the financial, but also perhaps readjust our expectations as far as how long this project is gonna ultimately take. I did ask Jay Clover, which is our financial advisor, if he could speak to the commission and bring you guys up to date on the financial aspect. But I've also asked Jason from Rada Construction to basically give an overview of the different phases for this project. So that way, if the commission have any questions, those would be the best ones to answer. Financial questions or project questions?
Thanks, Jay Glover from PFM Financial Advisors. We were engaged probably a month or two ago to serve as the city's financial consultant on this project. And what my firm does is we specialize in working with local governments around the state and the nation on procuring tax-exempt financing to fund critical infrastructure projects like the municipal service complex. When we were engaged, we were brought up to speed on the fact that the city was endeavoring to undertake a $30 million municipal complex that had several components to it. We looked at the financials of the city, the existing debt profile, in terms of what you have outstanding, to see what the city might be able to take on immediately in terms of funding this project, with the understanding that there's a $5 million bridge loan that is in effect right now that has to be refinanced, I think, in the next several months, and sort of what additional funding could be undertaken at this time. After doing that, which I'll talk a little bit about, we discussed with the city the potential of phasing the project. It was clear to us that taking on a $30 million loan at this point in time was not in the city's best financial interest and would have required significant either increased revenue streams to the city or significant expense decreases, or probably both, in order to absorb the debt service associated with that level of loan. So we work with your financial team, your external CPA, as well as the existing bank that has all of the city's debt, including the $5 million municipal loan, to try to get a better picture of what you could afford. After doing that, we determined that about $12 to $13 million worth of financing would be available to you underneath or within your what we call anti-dilution test, which is a requirement within your existing documents that you have to meet to issue additional debt. So it's really a legal requirement that you all have to meet to take on additional debt. We also not only looked at that, but also your ability to repay that debt within your financial resources, and we're still refining that analysis. But the bottom line is we think you can take on around $12 to $13 million of additional debt. That would allow you to pay off the $5 million bridge loan and generate $7 to $8 million of additional funding that will allow you to take on what I understand is the most critical phase of the project, and Jason can talk about the phasing element of that. So we have been in discussions with Citizens Bank and Trust, who I know is a good partner of the city. We actually just got a term sheet from them today indicating their willingness to loan the city up to $13 million at what we think are fairly favorable terms. They will allow for a 25-year amortization with a 10-year maturity date. So what that means is you can assume a longer amortization for repayment purposes, but at the 10-year mark, you will have to either refinance or pay the loan off or extend with Citizens Bank. Very common in this type of loan where you have that type of feature in it. The initial interest rate they quoted was a 4% tax-exempt rate. So given the term of the loan, the size of the loan, the credit quality of the city, we think that's a very favorable interest rate that they have proposed. So obviously Jason can talk about the phasing and what that $8 million of additional funding can get you. beyond what I understand is kind of the site work and other things that are already being undertaken. If we get some direction to move forward from you all tonight on this plan, we look to bring back before you at a subsequent meeting, likely in early April, a formal bond resolution, and that will document the terms of the loan from Citizens Bank that you all would need to approve to move forward. And obviously at that point, we'll have more firm details, and the lawyers will have documented all this and made sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, so to speak. So I think this was an opportunity just to present you sort of an overall. This is hot off the press. I just got this email this morning from them. But if you all like the deal, which we think is a good deal given the circumstances, that we would look to move forward and get a more formal commitment from them and bring it back before you at a future date. Yes, ma'am.
Let's just say property tax went away. Let's just say it. Does this affect this?
That's like the question today I'm getting from everybody. And
I'll be talking a little bit later about property taxes. And we're kind of to jump ahead a bit. Your team has already met about that issue. House Joint Resolution 203 was adopted 2 weeks ago by the House, and it's moving forward at least, or it should be under consideration by the Senate. We don't know whether they're going to take it up or not. Our latest intelligence says they're not, right? But, however, we know that property tax reform is going to be a reality in some phase. We're going to face that question. So we don't really have all of the data to tell you what that impact would be.
What would be the impact to us if we don't have property tax to pay this? What's that impact?
It's going to impact this loan and every other operation within the city. I mean, if it essentially goes, if the Draconian Act that eliminates all non-homestead properties, and I mean, it's without a replacement revenue stream. I'm not sure how that even is possible, honestly.
So then can we
I don't want to get ahead of that. I don't want the commission to get ahead of that question before we have a chance to really get the analysis in. Manager Ayala, myself, Mr. Wasman, Mr. Brindleson, we're all kind of working on that question to present you the what-if scenario. So I would anticipate that you'll have that. Probably won't see that before the end of session. You'll probably see that at the first meeting, I guess.
Any other questions about the financing? I know Jason behind me can talk about the phasing. I'm here to address any questions I have.
The interest rate on that day is very good. That's better than the $18 million loan that Barton CRA just took out last night. So,
yes, no, I was pleasantly surprised. Let's say I don't want Citizens to renege on that or anything, but no, I think it was below the interest rate we were running for preliminary numbers when we were determining the compliance with the anti-dilution test. So, I think it's a really good deal that they're offering. And I think it shows their commitment to the city. They're a good partner, and generally, banks that are good partners want to, provide aggressive interest rates. So we have no problem recommending this as a really good deal that they're offering.
It's a really good deal.
No, I know the bank is great.
Does the commission need to make any declaration when we proceed?
Not at this point, I wouldn't think, Madam Manager.
I think I misunderstood you because I thought you were asking us to tell you tonight.
Well, unless you all tell us not to, we plan to pursue a formal commitment from Citizens Bank that will be brought back before you for formal consideration, likely in the first meeting in April. I'll defer to you on that.
Yeah, and the key part of that we have to recognize is that we do owe the bridge note. So at some point in the next few months, that $5 million comes due, and we'll have to pay that in one way or the other. Moving forward with the project seems like the most likely answer, is what I'm hearing from management, so that we can have the money to pay back Citizens and then have some money for capital outlay in order to push the project forward. But the impacts of that's going to look like, how that's all going to be taken into account, there's just a lot of moving pieces right now. And so we'll probably have more answers in mid-April, early April.
So we're not voting tonight? Because we
No.
want more answers.
This is an information.
Okay. Got it.
My understanding is.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Discussion, Newman, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, Jason Roderick Construction, 250 East Highland Drive in Lakeland. So you guys have kind of already heard the kind of generalities of what the plan is. We've been working real hard the last few weeks to kind of first try to kind of see what is that maybe kind of overarching number look like, and then from that point kind of, you know, see what we would be able to potentially build out as part of the project. As it stands right now, the entire project has been kind of designed and permitted and is, you know, basically kind of in place to be able to start. A lot of the site work has happened. For those of you who were there at the groundbreaking a few weeks ago, the site has been leveled and brought together. It's been cleared. Most of the dirt work has all been done. A lot of the stormwater structures have been done. A lot of the sanitary work has been done, to where ultimately the entire site is prime in the future to be able to be built out in its entirety as it's currently planned. We're actually at kind of the perfect spot right now overall in the project to be having these discussions and to be doing this. In seeing what was going on, we kind of paused all the activity out there, so we didn't go spend any funds in the short term that weren't going to be a wise use of those dollars long term. So at that point, we got together and said, where do we think that we can take this project at this point as far as we can with the money that seems like it will be available? And ultimately, what we've come up with is building the City Hall building, which is kind of where we were standing at the groundbreaking ceremony, the two-story building closest to Highway 60. All of the City Hall functions that you have now, including the new chambers, would all be on the first floor, be able to be a part of that. With the idea potentially even being that on the second floor, for now, we would be able to house new spaces for the museum and the cultural center up on that second floor also. So being able to move, the vast majority of kind of what's being currently done here at this site over to there, get them into those spaces, and then that would be quote phase one. That would happen, hopefully, in the immediacy upon y'all's approval of that, with the idea that then, as your financial position warrants and you're able to find the rest of the funds, I think it was in the third year, I think you were showing on the chart, would be the next phase would be the museum and civic center and cultural center, which is the larger building kind of on the far back of the site. And then the final phase, which I think was in year 5 potentially, would be the sheriff's substation, which is kind of in the middle of this site. So what we've done so far to date, none of that work has to be undone or redone or thought through differently. We just kind of have, and we're still working through all the exact details also, so that we can, hopefully it would be at the same time as when the resolution Jay was referring to would come together. We'd be able to have some real concrete numbers and answers of exactly what we're doing and how much it's going to be, and where that lines up with the funds that have already been expended to date. But we feel very confident about the path to be able to get us to having that first phase done and completed within the amount of money that you all would be able to have available to be able to make that first phase happen, and make sure again that we haven't spent any and that we're not going to spend monies that then later are going to have to ultimately be undone and redone when you're kind of looking at this as a multi-phase project, because that's important to consider too.
Questions, commissioners?
Do we know what we're selling? Were the comps done for this building to see what it could sell for? Yeah, okay.
Not that I'm aware of. In fact, that's something that I believe you were going to speak to in your report tonight, Manager Allen. Mulberry needs to have a comprehensive real estate sales ordinance before we think about selling this building. That would, you're required by your charter to appraise it, and the value of this intersection, I would anticipate you'll need 2 appraisals. So, but we work on that.
Is the sheriff's office a separate address, or is it one building?
It's part of the
Fire?
same complex.
Okay.
That's right. So there could be potential appraisals for each unit, in the sense that the sheriff's office is a standalone component of the city hall complex.
You need a write-up?
Okay, thank you, Jason.
Okay, thank you.
Communications with citizens. Deputy Lewis, can you bring us back to the sign-up sheet, please? Garner.
Dr. Gardner, JRAD, would like to thank you all for your monetary donation. We just hosted the Black History Program at JRAD, and they're passing out the program to you at this time. And it was a huge, huge success. Talent out of this world. So those of you all that were not able to be there, you missed the treat.
Ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes.
Commission comments.
Can I ask a question? This is random. With the Depot 303, and we know how we're doing with them now, should we put a hold on that $25,000 generator?
Would that be a decision for the
I'm not sure that that's a decision for this board.
I thought Mr. Johnson called it from that seat at a regular meeting, not a CRA meeting.
Yeah, I don't know, if that's currently, my advice on that is, if that's a CRA slated expenditure, then I would discuss that at a CRA meeting as opposed to
I
this.
thought the same thing too,
Yeah.
but I thought Mr. Johnson said it at one of our evening meetings, so can we just put that in the notes, maybe to help that out?
Commission comments. Donald, let's go first.
I don't really have much to say today, but I appreciate y'all being here. I had a lot of stuff going on with my family. My husband had surgery. The next day, my father-in-law had a mild heart attack. I broke a toe or two. I don't know. Stuff's going on. So anyway, I appreciate everybody being here, and that's it for tonight.
Commissioner Harrison.
I have a lot of stuff going through my head from these meetings, let us know what's going on, but I really don't have anything to say.
Commissioner Smith.
I would simply like to say, I think, with the new election that was on board, but now that we don't have to have an election, and the three of us that was supposed to be elected, that's one word, that was up to be elected. Neil, which is our vice mayor, and Ms. Rose, and myself. I just simply like to say that, I really need to thank you. I've been having some problems with my knees and it's been a little bit more than I am. But anyway, I just want to thank Ms. Dempsey personally. She took it upon us on her own to Brian Dixon's signatures for me. And I could each turn in and be in the process. So we don't have anyone that's running against us. We're pretty much in, but I just need to give thanks to Ms. Dempsey and for the work she did for me. That's about it.
Commissioner Marsati.
Thank you. I was gonna stay quiet tonight, but there's a few things that, I know that's unheard of. Chelsea, thank you for everything, thank you for your staff. I got a chance to talk to a few of them during that nice little slight break.
Group shower.
everybody involved with that just does such a great job. And it's great to see. When you go through and you start talking to people, and they mention how much fun they had. I don't know if you paid any attention to the social media comments after. I posted a few pictures. That's what I do. And the comments that came back from about 4 different platforms, they're looking forward to seeing them again. They're looking forward for the next one. So I think the Mulberry Jam in particular, by the way, I think that's going to just grow. And as for the chili contest, we'll make a showing there too. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say, not just in the city here, but for the nation, we've had a really turbulent week. And if you will, just say a few prayers for our service people. And also we have a few citizens that are stuck in Dubai right now, and they're having a hard time of it. So just keep them in your thoughts. Thank you.
Leaves it to me. So I was approached by Ashley Ray at the Boys and Girls Club to sit on the committee for workforce education at the Wogan S. Badcock Boys and Girls Club office. And that first meeting was, I think, last Wednesday. And they're just trying to poll the community on what is needed as far as trade. So kind of keep your ears out there and let us know, please. One down, 4 more to go. Dr. Garner mentioned about the event at Mulberry Middle School at the campus of JRE Lee. That was a great event. Those middle school cheerleaders, man, they were choreographed well. And so I had the opportunity to go last year. I went this year, and I've just seen the improvement in the program from last year to this year, and their vision is to improve upon it every year. Missing Piece Theater, I attended that event. What was that called, Chelsea? Remind me.
Moon over Buffalo.
Moon over Buffalo, that's right. Same night as Mulberry Museums. Worked out great. Had a good time supporting theater. Thanks to Chelsea. So I went to Tallahassee Sunday to lobby for the Polk County School Board unions. The electeds in Tallahassee are attacking unions, public unions, with the exception of police and fire union. But I'm not talking about that anymore here. It's not the place for it. But it's just, they're eroding home rule once again. So we need to go and build those relationships with those people we elect in Tallahassee. Before I left for Tallahassee, I went hunting. I fueled my truck up at the racetrack, headed out. There were a bunch of, I call them bandit signs on the road. Becky Troutman was on a soapbox about this as the county commissioner. And I just pulled over, and I probably spent about a half an hour just picking them up. I'll repurpose them at the American Legion for a fall festival. They printed on one side, I'll use the other. So I know code enforcement is one person, so if we could, just as residents, if we see them, pick them up. They look like trash, you know? And when they're all along 60 and 37, come on, 1 or 2 is okay. But you're talking 25, 30? Come on. Okay. Next meeting is spring break. As mentioned earlier, I may not be here because I might travel somewhere. It's spring break. Working for the school board, I'm off. I'm going to go ahead and sip from my Mary Kay cup. That's right. It's not an endorsement. It's okay. It's the Chamber of Commerce. If you're not a Chamber of Commerce member, I encourage you to join the Mulberry Chamber of Commerce. There are a great group of people there. And I hope I get this tagline right, Tracy. There's 1,000 ways to beautiful. Let me just show you one. Tracy Carley from Mary Kay. With that said, I'm gonna sip on my water.
Okay, great.
City manager.
This commercial was brought to you by.
I know, right?
I'm sorry for that.
So I provided to you, the commission, ahead of time, the city manager's report. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. As Drew has stated, we will be looking to bring to the commission an ordinance outlining the procedure for the sale of real property, which would be his property, but also if the city has other vacant properties that we're wanting to sell, to have an actual outline to guide us on what we're to do and not to do. But aside from that, I just want to remind the commission that on Friday, I will be attending a CRE training course in Orlando. And that is all I have.
What's CRE stand for?
CRE.
Oh, CRA, ACRA, okay. That's all right. Maybe it's my ears. All right.
Well, I appreciate all your notes ahead of time and all your text messages of keeping us informed of what's going on in the city. I really appreciate that.
Did I understand you to say we will be selling this property?
That was, from my understanding, that was the goal previously, was to eventually sell this property that would in hope help finance the other project.
Right. Okay, so we've already started negotiating?
No, we haven't started that.
No, sir.
Okay, that's what I'm.
No, sir. The plan will be to have an ordinance adopted that will help guide you on how you sell this property and what parts you sell as you move along. We know that there's a lot of moving pieces to the new project, one of which involves, for example, right-of-way. And there have been some discussions with DOT about swapping a little bit of sidewalk for some right-of-way, things like that. So the ordinance that I'm looking at right now combines and synthesizes the best of all of the cities that we represent.
Right.
So I hope to have that back before you sometime next month, probably in April, is when we'll look at it and to decide how we want to move forward.
Okay.
It's a little disappointed that we're doing it in phases.
So, I do it when I sit in that seat, and I'm doing it when I sit in this seat. I forgot to mention something. Ms. Taylor, you don't have to say yes right now. So, I purchased season tickets to the Missing Keys Theater, and I would like you to come with me to the Crowns live theater on Sunday. I know it's church day. April 26th at 2 p.m. Just let me know. You don't have to say yes now.
That's a good one.
Okay, city attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I have a presentation that I brought tonight, so hopefully it will help gather the thoughts as we walk through sort of where we are in the world today. So, my gracious thanks to the city clerk for letting me give it to her 5 minutes before the meeting started. So, thank you all so much. Let me first start out the report by going through what's going on in the legislative session for you. So we're in the 8th week of session right now. Session really kicks in this week and next week. The legislature is expected to adjourn sine die, meaning that's the end of their session. Not this Friday, but the next, March 13th. This is a particularly slow session. There were 1,893 bills filed. Only 17 have passed both houses. That's a pretty low number. The House is, if you want to see how contentious it is, the House has passed 213 bills. The Senate has passed 128, but only 17 of those are identical. Right? So they're very angry with each other right now. I can't tell you how crazy it is in Tallahassee. Some of you all been up there, have probably seen it. So that you know, session can be extended if 3/5 of the legislature votes to do that. That's going to require a 2/3 plus 1 vote to entertain any new business. But my gosh, they already have plenty of business right now. So we'll have to see what happens.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead. Yes.
You said they can extend with
a 3/5 vote, 60%.
Each chamber, the
Each
House
chamber.
and the
That's right.
Senate, two
Yes.
separate 3/5?
That's right, two separate 3/5 vote. And they did that last year with the budget and with a couple of other items. So It's not unheard of for that to happen. I think they're going to do that, if I had to guess. The reason why is we already have a special session that's been called for congressional redistricting that's going to start in April. So there's really no reason why we can't extend the session.
April 2024.
Just up 26, excuse me. Pardon the typo. So I should say April 20th, 2026. My apologies. Don't ask me why I wrote 24. That's one of those typos. Yeah. But the point being there is that that's only a month away. I just don't see the legislature going out of session. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I'm going to give you just a couple updates on some highlights of what's happening. Tort claims is moving. The House passed a revision that would, on October 1st of 2026, increase the caps from the current $200,000 to $300,000 mark to $500,000 for any single claimant, $1 million for any group claimant. It would rise again on October 1 of 2031 to $600,000 for single, $1.2 million for a group. The Senate just today in rules amended their version of the bill to say 350, 500. So that's definitely moving. Whether or not they're going to send that to conference and resolve, I don't know. But it definitely seems like we're going to be looking at a tort claim revision as far as our caps and our liability. Next slide, please, ma'am.
And didn't the Florida League of Cities lobby against that?
Yeah, if you'll go back one, please, Jack. The Florida League has lobbied against the House bill. They have lobbied, their lobbying notes say to monitor the Senate's bill. We think that the Senate's bill, even with the rules modification from today, would have an impact, but not as great of an impact as essentially tripling our liability. So, thank you. We talked about this earlier. Property taxes, House Joint Resolution 203 was passed by the House. They did that Thursday, February 19th, 2026. That proposes to eliminate all non-school property taxes on homesteaded property. Your management team, finance team, and legal teams have all met by Zoom. We did that last Thursday to discuss potential implications. We intend to bring back a report. And my understanding is that report's going to come from your finance group to let you know what that impact may look like. Again, to repeat, my understanding is that the Senate is not going to entertain House Joint Resolution 203. And the Senate is advancing the idea that there could be a potential increase to the homestead tax exemption as opposed to completely exempting homesteads altogether. What comes out of Tallahassee remains to be seen. There's a lot of time left. A lot of time left before the 26th election. So, but we're going to, what I think the news to take away from tonight is your staff's working on what the worst case scenario might look like. And so that way you have some worst case scenario planning because you have big financial decisions to make here. Thank you, ma'am. Next slide. So the state budget, just to kind of let you know where they are, it's in conference committee as of February 20th. There's been no schedule yet for the budget conference, so we don't know. That to me says, hey, we're in week 9, or week 8, we don't know when the budget conference is going to be. Because of the time frames and the way that by law you have to have a 72-hour waiting period and some other things, this session is going to be extended. It's just going to happen. Right now the House has a $113 billion budget. Senate's looking at a $115 billion budget. I thought it was kind of interesting that of that $1.4 billion difference, 0.7 of that is in capital outlay to local governments. But the Senate is, interested in giving local governments more money than the House. Take from that what you will. Any questions anybody has about the legislature and what's happening right now? I want to try to keep you all updated because this session is so impactful on local government. It really seems like this is a Tidewater mark. So, okay, thank you, ma'am. Next slide. So, just to keep you updated on what I'm doing, development matters. We had attorney contacts from Ms. Vidal with Barbara Kramer. She's a professional planner that works with some land use attorneys there. We discussed the typical contents of a utility service agreement. That's going to be an after-the-fact agreement with VBTL, the Victoria by the Lakes. And so we're anticipating that that's going to be entered into shortly. I would say less than 45 days to resolve that matter is where we're looking at for that. We also have contact with Clayton Bricklemeyer from Hillward Henderson representing Lennar. Lennar is interested in the property behind McKeel, the new McKeel Academy that's opening up at the old Kingsford Elementary School building. There's a staff conference that's anticipated next week to discuss potential water reservations. We don't yet have a genuine development plan filed, and so that presents some challenges, but Lennar is looking to decide whether or not they want to take a bet given our water situation. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to come to some conclusion on that for them, and at least update them on what the water challenges in Mulberry may look like in the future.
Did they say how many houses?
Yeah, I think that's going to end up being somewhere north of 300 is what they were looking at, 300 units. But that's lawyer talk. I don't have an actual development number for you, but let's assume that it's something like that is what they're kind of, that would be third of an acre, give or take. Okay, next slide, please, ma'am. Thanks. Right now, our office is still working on the draft of the interlocal agreement with Polk County for those 3 developments we've talked about before in the past. This is old news, but just so that you know, it's the Villages at Lake Osprey.
That's on Fifth, right?
No, Villages at Lake Osprey is that's the townhome development behind Walmart. The GGAJM Investments Apartments, those are the apartments behind Wendy's. Yeah, Republic Services of Florida is that's the old Shamrock or Central Water Solutions deep well, the KC Industries parcel, that they're anticipating 1,000 to 2,000 gallons a day of potable water. So, all 3 of those are anticipating working with Polk County to serve their potable water needs. We just need to have an interlocal agreement in place on how bills work. There's an important component to this that you should be aware of. Manager Ayala and I talked about this. You'll need to set up a separate rate structure in order to deal with these units, and so before they'll be able to come online, we'll have to have that rate in place. And so we're right now, staff's working on figuring that out for you. So anticipate that you'll see these items come up here in the next 6 months, I would think. Okay, next slide, please.
And that's
Thanks.
circumventing the lack of water.
Well, it's based on water policy from the 25 era. Yeah, so there's not a lack of water, so to speak. It's these developments require a guarantee of water, and our policy since 2023 has been really that if individuals want water from Mulberry, we're happy to give it to them. We have plenty of it, but we can't, by contract, guarantee their water supply in the event of a water reduction from Swiftmud. And it's that unknown component that those developers need to have some higher measure of certainty on.
Wasn't our permit expiring in 2030, right?
Yeah.
Our permits expire in 2030.
I think 2032. I think 2030. It might be 2030.
We're getting a USA through the county, right?
Yes, yes. So we're gonna have an interlocal agreement with the county.
Okay.
That'll concern how water is basically billed to us. Then we'll in turn need to have our internal billing with our customers to collect the revenue to pay back the county for the water we buy from them. That's right. 3 other items to report for you, 2 on this slide, and I have a whole series of slides coming. So proposed revisions to the city's procurement ordinance, we've revitalized that effort. We've emailed our draft suggested changes to the city manager and finance team. We're going to take our direction from staff on the next steps. But we're hoping that the procurement ordinance revisions will simplify and make procurement a much cleaner process in Mulberry, help staff essentially navigate those complex questions with ease. We also are working on our proposed revisions to the alley closure ordinance, as we mentioned before in the past. I have not finalized those yet, but I hope to have a draft set for review shortly. Now, congratulations to all of those who qualified and have no opponents during the election. I get to mention the fact that there's redistricting that we need to address. So your manager and I over the last week have been discussing this topic, and we both feel this is a perfect time to address redistricting in Mulberry because we have a year break next year, right? So there's no election in Mulberry in 27. So we have an 18-month period now that we can really address this issue and sort of land the plane on it. Would you advance the next slide, please? These are some of the action steps, if you may remember from the presentation that I gave before. The commission has decided it wants to stay with the 4 district seats and 1 at-large seat model. In that, what needs to happen, the manager and her staff needs to be directed to generate new maps for you to consider. And once you have a map that meets redistricting criteria, which we'll work on to help make sure that happens, the commission can adopt that map and a transition schedule by ordinance. Your charter permits that. Next slide, please. So the key events are, if you're gonna have one, let's have a public workshop or public meeting on the potential 4 district redistricting maps, what those might look like. You'll need to instruct the city attorney's office to draft that ordinance. You would do that all at the same time, right? Tell the manager, make the maps. Maybe we have a public workshop. Tell me to write the ordinance on the one you like. We'll do first reading and public hearing of the ordinance adopting new maps, second reading and public hearing on the ordinance adopting new maps, and it's done.
Don't we have maps already drafted from the?
Yes, yes, if you'll please go to the next page. So this is your existing map, right? If you'll notice that District 4 is on almost the entire east side of the city. District 5 is to the southwest of the city. And then Districts 2 and 4 are on the north side.
Are we gonna get a better one that shows every street so we can see this isn't helpful.
It isn't from this distance.
No, I can't see every single name of each street in the districts.
No, it is not, and I would agree.
An interactive map like on their website, like something. If I want to know if I run, what district I'm in, I have to call and ask, and there's no proof. Like I want to see it for my own eyes. I shouldn't have to call and say what district do I live in. Like I know because I know, but if you're just a random person and you want to run, you don't know what street those are. It's just a wall.
There's a variety of ways that we.
Like I literally want to see all the streets that are in like an interactive type of map, not a picture. Like on the website in Lakeland.
This is part of Mulberry, not Lakeland.
I say it's possible, it's just gonna cost.
I don't know, that means nothing to me. It's just-
If you'll advance another slide for me.
How can
One
you
of the-
prove to me?
One of the conceptual items that we discussed too was that potentially, this would do a 3-district one, right? Now, this was the map that everybody rejected. The only reason why it's important to put it up here though, is because it shows that we can move certain things around to balance. And so you may have certain maps that are drawn at different street points and other things like that, that help you meet all of your criteria. Let's go to the next slide, please. Yes, ma'am. Oh, that's the end. Okay, yeah, that's it. So yeah, is if you go back one then. So this is again your existing map. What I will tell you, Commissioner McDonald, is that districts 2 and 4 are drawn based on mobile home parks.
Park, I got that one, but.
So and everything else in the city is divided essentially based on Highway 37.
I want to see the streets.
Yeah. And the populations are out of balance right now. And so it is important that you do engage in a redistricting effort. My whole point to tell you and bring this up to you tonight is now is the time. And so I would highly recommend that, Mr. Vice Mayor, that if it be the consensus of this commission, that, we at least get the nod. Yes, move forward. Yes, we want to do this. I think that's what Manager Al is looking for. That's certainly what I'm looking for before we start to engage professionals and do the data studies and those types of things.
Well, it's required because they're off balance, correct?
Yes.
I thought I read that somewhere.
I would advise you do it.
Who's going to entertain a motion?
We don't necessarily need a motion, Vice Mayor, just as long as everybody says do it. That's what we just yes. This is something we want to see come back. So I'm seeing nods. And yes, do it. Okay. Then I think this is the right time. Then, what would you prefer from us, Manager Al? I guess the next step is to get with our professional staff and then determine what the existing population database. Yeah, and we can bring you back a couple options. There are consultants that we can hire that have been recommended by the previous supervisor of elections. We haven't had a chance to discuss this yet with the current supervisor of elections. so we can find out from her office what she would recommend or her chief of staff would recommend. We have existing contracts with the Central Florida Regional Planning Council, and most of our existing data is built off of their information, their ESRI information. So we can get as granular and as specific as we want, maybe even down to the house number.
I think you should be able to see the streets and house number. I'm just a prudent person, cause I get the trailer parks, we don't need those, but,
Why do we not need trailer parks?
cause they're defined, you can tell where they're at, it's the whole park.
I wish I brought the 2006 map, the one with the circles on it.
I saw that,
Circle.
I saw that.
D2, circle.
I saw
D4,
that.
yeah.
So is the consensus overall for us to look at this more in depth and bring you back some more
Yes.
information?
Okay. So that's what we'll do then. And I can, over the next, say, 60 days, we can come up with a schedule for you guys to look at. And that may help you. We'll be doing the same thing as the legislature. So, there you go. Mr. Vice Mayor, that's all I have from our report tonight, unless anybody has any questions about pending legal matters.
City Clerk.
City manager, City Manager, y'all have included in her report, but as everyone said, we will not be having an election this year. All of our commissioners ran unopposed, so,
I tried to get
Ridge League of Cities.
Miss Smith to run.
Ridge League, for those, yes, everyone who did RSVP for Ridge League of Cities, that is next week. So please don't forget.
We're agreeing.
Very green. It's in Barstow. We're close to home.
No, it's like this Thursday. Yeah.
It's next Thursday. It's Thursday, next Thursday, the
I
12th.
think it's the 12th.
The 12th. It's next.
Oh, yeah, I'm confused with that. Yeah.
It's the same day.
It's 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we can adjourn the meeting. Do I need a formal motion?